Hey, all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC, and I'm back at the review table today, and I'm going to be pulling a few new figures off the review shelf to give you guys a closer look at. Specifically, I'm going to be taking a look at the newest assortment of Disney Marvel Toybox figures. So initially, I thought the plug had been pulled on this line. It had been months since we'd really seen anything new for it. We never saw the Venom figure that they had teased around the time the Venom movie came out, and just it seemed like Disney was done with these. But then all of a sudden, we got 3 new ones, and so I decided to pick these up. I got the new Captain Marvel with Goose, so this is loosely based on the movie. And then Spider-Man, this one's pretty much just a repaint, again, based on the movie, his Far From Home outfit. And then this third one, which is actually the coolest of the 3 in my opinion, is our first X-Men figure in the line, Wolverine. And this, of course, is comic book based because X-Men have yet to appear in the MCU, but hopefully that will be changing very soon. And maybe, you know, this is Disney's way of telling us that Wolverine's coming. I don't know. But anyway, I thought I'd take a closer look at these. So hopefully you'll come over to the review station with me and we'll check these out. Now, the packaging with these are exactly the same with the previous figures in the line that we've seen. You've got that standardized white-red card back. Up in the corner, you've got the Disney logo because these are Disney Store exclusives. You've got the Marvel Toybox logo on the side, and then down below, you've got the names of the characters and the numbering. Each figure is clearly displayed on the card back along with the accessories. Now, the figures break down. Captain Marvel is number 18. Wolverine is number 19, and then Spider-Man is figure number 20 in the series. And then on the back of the packaging, it's exactly the same with all 3. You just get images of the 3 figures in this assortment, and then down below that, it's just a bunch of legal type writing. And you also get some pretty nice artwork for all 3 characters on the side of the packaging. Now, for those not familiar with the Toybox line, the designs of these figures, while the costumes themselves are generally based on the MCU, other than Wolverine here, which is comic book based, but the figures themselves with that kind of animated look are actually based on the old Disney Infinity video game, which had their own toy line, non-articulated, but these figures are very similar to that. They just have the added articulation. So here's all 3 figures outside the packaging along with the accessories that are included with them. Now, one thing I do want to note here is something that was not included that we generally see with these figures is a catalog that would show you all the other figures, not only in the Marvel line, but the other lines they do for Toybox, including things like Star Wars. And then often with those, they would tease upcoming figures. But with these 3 figures, there was no catalog included at all. So I don't know if there's a specific reason for that, if there aren't any other figures planned or what, but as it is, you know, this is all we know of for the line at this time for Marvel. Now, out of the 3 figures, Spider-Man is probably the weakest of the 3, simply because it's just a repaint. We've seen this figure released multiple times in the line, including this one for Homecoming. So it's the exact same figure, just repainted, so it looks like his Far From Home outfit. The accessory is even the same. It's that web thing. You can pull it out. You've got the little string. It pops into place. And then you can attach this to a hard surface with the suction cup. And again, we've seen that with the previous Spider-Man figures. And they've done Spider-Man multiple times, a comic book based one and such. So, you know, this figure is just not terribly exciting to me. And then, you know, it looks like here on the paint applications, the black, I don't know, a little bit of sloppiness there on the black lines there on his chest. I do like how the spider symbol looks on his chest with the white outline. That does stand out nicely in the light. And on the back there, he's got the white spider symbol, which looks pretty good. And he's wearing the black outfit with the red. The webbing is actually sculpted onto the figure. It's not just drawn, just like with the previous figure. And you've got the eyes, the white eyes, and the black and everything. So again, there's really nothing new with this figure. It's just repainted to look like his Far From Home outfit. Like with the Homecoming version, you have that same exact writing on his butt. Now, the Captain Marvel figure is pretty cool. I would have liked it better if they had based it on our outfit and look from Avengers Endgame as opposed to the Captain Marvel movie, but I do like the accessories that they've included with this figure. So you get 2 head sculpts with this one, masked head with the mohawk sticking out with the yellow hair. She's got the whited out eyes. I like the sculpting detail on the helmet. You know, for a figure like this, I think that's actually pretty nice detailing. Good skin tone and everything. So, you know, if you like that mohawk look, I actually think this is a pretty cool looking head sculpt. You know, it does have that animated flair from the video game, but I actually think that's what kind of makes it cool. And then you also get the second unmasked head. Now, they've given her short blonde hair with this look, which actually looks more like something from the comics to me, but I do think it looks good. Again, she's got the yellow hair, and the way it's sculpted, you know, again, looks much like you would see in the comics. Good skin tone, the eyes look pretty good, the paint on the eyes and everything. So again, a figure of this type, I think they've done a pretty good job with this head sculpt. And then you get Goose the cat and the Flirt Gun alien. Now Goose is completely static. There's no articulation. He's sculpted in a sitting position. He's got blue eyes. You know, it looks like a cartoony type cat, and his mouth is open. And the reason why they opened his mouth is so you could stick the Flirt Gun in there with the little peg, so it looks like it's coming out of his mouth like you would see in the movie. And the Flirt Gun is made with a rubber type material, so it is very flexible and bendy. And you've got a lighter purple, and then at the tips, it's a darker purple. And then for the rest of the figure, I like the sculpting detail, like on her chest here with the star. It's actually sculpted on there, not just painted, so I think that looks good. Now, I will say that the metallic gold on the figure, like there on the chest and there on the shoulder pads and everything, does come off looking a little dingy. In fact, like up here on her shoulders, it almost looks like some of the gold paint has washed off a little bit. So I would have liked maybe a little brighter gold on the figure. But otherwise, you know, I think this is a pretty solid looking figure. I like how the gloves look, and these pieces on her wrist are actually separate pieces that are sculpted on there. You've got the shoulder pads. Now again, I got a little bit of sloppy paint on this one. It looks like some red got on the blue there at her shoulder and down here on the shoulder pads. And again, it looks like some of the red is bleeding through on the gold there. So not the most solid of paint applications, not horrible, but definitely that's probably the weakest thing about this figure. And then on the back, you even have some sculpting detail. This piece down here, again, it's a separate piece. It's made with a rubber material. You've got the tassel hanging down, and then she's got the gold and the red on the boots. And then finally with Wolverine, so Wolverine also comes with two different head sculpts. So you get the normal masked head, and with this figure, they've gone with the tiger stripe outfit with the yellow and blue and black. And the head, you know, it looks good. It looks like Wolverine's mask with the pointed tips. And that's done with a pretty hard plastic. And then you've got the whited out eyes and the good skin tone and everything. The facial expression is fairly neutral. I mean, it looks like maybe he's gritting his teeth a little bit, but definitely I've seen angrier Wolverines. But, you know, that's kind of in keeping with this line in general, with that kind of animated feel and look. So I wouldn't expect a really super angry expression with these figures. You then also get an unmasked Logan Head, which looks pretty good. I mean, he's very clean shaven, but again, with this type of line, I wouldn't really expect stubble or anything like that. He's got the chops with the black hair, and the hair is sculpted like his mask that kind of points out. So all that looks pretty good. Decent skin tone. And the thing I really like about this is they've actually included a cowboy hat, and you can actually put it on, so they shaped the hat so it matches his hair. I kind of wish this is what Hasbro had done with their Cowboy Logan figure. And so you can actually put it on there, and, you know, you got to push hard, but you can actually get it on there pretty good. Now, granted, you know, you don't usually see Logan wearing a cowboy hat when he's got his X-Men uniform on, but it is kind of cool that they actually included that with the unmasked head. And then they've also included with this figure a sword and sheath. And I actually think the sword looks pretty good. So you've got the black handle with the diamonds, and you've got the metallic silver at the end of the handle, which looks pretty good. And then you've got the metallic silver for the blade. The plastic's actually pretty sturdy, so you don't really have to worry about it bending. And it fits well in the sheath, and the sheath is just done with brown plastic, and you've got the metallic silver diamonds on it. You get this strap. Now, the strap really isn't big enough to do anything, but other than just kind of put it around one of the arms. You can't like put it over his shoulder or, you know, cross shoulder. The strap's just not big enough, so you just have to kind of hang it off of one of his shoulders like that. And they've given him two grip hands, so you can have him hold the sword in either the left or the right hand. Now for the figure itself, overall, it's pretty solid looking. However, I don't like how they've done the shoulder pads. They got pretty sloppy on the paint with the shoulder pads. You can see, like, it doesn't look like they kind of finished here. And then the main thing my main problem is you've got skin tone that you can see all the way around between the actual shoulder and the rest of his shirt. So it looks like the shoulder pads are actually not connected, and you've got that on both sides. So I definitely feel like they got pretty sloppy on the paint with the shoulder pads. Otherwise, while basic, you know, all the paint applications seem to be pretty solid. You've got the bright yellow and then the blue. You've got the tiger stripe pattern there on the sides. He's got the X symbol on his belt, and the belt is a separate piece, though it feels like it's glued on there. And then he's got for his claws, so this is kind of a tribute to the old Toy Biz figures back in the day, the 5-inch Wolverine figures. They had the claws that you could retract by basically just pulling them back. So I like that. However, they didn't actually make them so you could retract the claws all the way back. That's as far back as you can actually retract them. So it's almost is kind of pointless. You can push it forward so they get a little bit longer, but it would have been nice if they had made this gap in the forearm so you could actually retract the claws all the way back, like on the old Toy Biz figures. So I like the nod to the old Toy Biz figures, but I think they could have done it a little bit better. And then for the legs, you've got the continuation of the blue that comes down to his thighs on both sides. And then he's got just the yellow pants. And then he's got the boots with the blue and the black striping. You don't have any tips like here on the sides of his boots. So they didn't include that. But overall, they seem to be pretty comic book accurate. Now for these figures, Spider-Man is the shortest of the three. And he comes in just under 5 inches tall. And then Wolverine is the next tallest, and he comes in right under 5.5 inches tall. And then finally Captain Marvel, if you count to the tip of her hair, she is the tallest and comes in about 5 3/4 inches tall. Now, not that I put that much emphasis on scale for a line such as this, but you know, Wolverine probably is a little bit on the tall side. As you can see here next to Captain America, he is the same height and probably should be a little bit shorter. And here's a comparison of Wolverine with the Hulk figure that they did for the Avengers movies, and Hulk is a bit taller. And for Captain Marvel, here's a comparison of the movie Thanos figure that they did a while back, and Thanos is taller than Captain Marvel. And Spider-Man, of course, is the exact same height as the previous Homecoming version. I guess he hasn't grown any in the last couple of years, but of course, really it's just because it's the exact same figure. So for articulation, it's the same across the board pretty much with all three figures. So I'm just going to use Wolverine to show you the articulation. So you can turn the head to the left and to the right, and Wolverine can look down about that much, and then he can look up about that much. So not a whole lot. And then you do get a little bit of head pivot with this one. Now with the shoulders, you can get the shoulders out pretty good there, and you've got good rotation there. Now I want to note, I do have some paint scratching off here on the hinge joint there underneath on the elbow, or shoulder I should say, so just be wary of that. You get single hinged elbows with these guys, so Wolverine can bend his elbow about that much, and then you get the rotation there at the elbow. With Wolverine, you do not have any wrist articulation because of the claw gimmick. The others do have wrist articulation. You can rotate the hands, and you do have hinges. So now with Captain Marvel, you can only do the hand down. I do like how they actually broke the glove into two parts. So this top piece doesn't actually limit the hand movement, at least not too much. Again, you can do it down, but you really can't do it up. So I do like that. And then with the midsection, there's no kind of ab crunch or anything. You just get a waist swivel. With the legs, they can do the splits good. You can get the leg forward about that much, and you can do the leg back about that much. No thigh swivels, single hinged knee, so you can bend the knee that much, and then you get rotation there at the knee. With the feet, you have hinges, so up and down movement. You get rotation, but no ankle pivot. And then 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. Now, out of the three, I definitely like the Wolverine the best and the Spider-Man the least. I would have been nice with Wolverine if you could have retracted the claws all the way up in the arm, but I do like the nod to the old Toy Biz ones. Paint applications on all three figures are a little bit iffy in places, but you know, still for the most part, I think they're pretty cool looking figures if you like that kind of animated look and feel from the Disney Infinity game. Now, again, I really like the Wolverine figure. I like the unmasked head. I like the fact that you have the removable cowboy hat. I like the accessories with the Captain Marvel, with the goose cat and the alien. I think that's pretty good. Even Spider-Man, I mean, if you want Spider-Man in this line in his homecoming outfit, it doesn't look bad with the white and everything around the spider symbol and on the back and with the black. But again, that is just a repaint figure and you're not really getting anything new. Now, all three figures are currently available. They're definitely available on the Disney Shop website, and I believe they are hitting physical stores as well. Again, these are sold as Disney Store exclusives. We'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. I'll put a link to that in the video description below. And if you're so inclined, like the video. I'd really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.
I got claws. I can use them.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News Message Boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.